WildC.A.T.s, issue 6, Matthew Rosenberg writing with Tom Derenick on the art. Matt, you read this, or at least part of it, from what I hear.
Yeah. This is one of those books where I feel like Priest, Deathstroke, where there's a lot going on, and I'm reading a lot of books, so it feels like I'm missing things in between, even though I'm probably not. And I say this every time I talk about this, is I can tell Matthew Rosenberg loves the WildC.A.T.s. I just feel like I need to be familiar with the WildC.A.T.s to enjoy this as much as, you know, as much as he enjoys writing it. So the team gets together at the beginning to, because Grifter's, you know, corpse wasn't our Grifter. It was a different realities. So they're trying to, you know, figure out why all of this. And it starts with Marlowe in a golf tournament, and someone's asking him questions about like, so like, look, you guys got involved in this war, the Halo Corporation, and because you guys got involved, that allowed this other country to come in and basically seize control, and then you know, put in a fascist dictatorship, and then that country was already being backed by Halo. So it all feels like, you know, you guys being involved is very intentional, and you're doing some back shady stuff. And Marlowe was like, well, I'm sure there's a question in there. Who are you? And it's Clark Kent from the Daily Planet, right? So Marlowe tries to just hand wave it all by going like, look, we do the difficult things so other people don't have to. You wouldn't understand any of this type of stuff because, you know, as a reporter, you're just here to report. You don't have to make the tough decisions. You know, not realizing that he is Superman. And then he gets upset with his, you know, the guy that's driving his cart. You know, he's like, well, who let the Daily Planet here? Like, we're not supposed to have, like, actual news people here. And then Grifter goes to find Ladytron, who's the cyborg lady that kind of controls them through their nano stuff. And she's at some, like, BDSM place, you know, watching people, you know, do that type of thing. And Grifter shows up, and she's like, you know, this is weird because I have no more contact with your nanos. It's almost like you have none. And Zealot and the girl Fairchild are meeting up with members of the new team from that the Seven Soldiers, and they end up, you know, getting into a fight because where they're showing up is someone has stolen technology from Halo, and they're there to get it back. So when they go in, they start getting shot at, and they find out that it's Toyman on the other side, and that apparently Halo had used some of Toyman's tech to build the Spartan androids, and that he was basically taking his technology back. They saw that as stealing, so they sent the team after him. But Zealot and Fairchild are there just basically to run interference because they've been talking to Ladytron basically through a back channel, and they're trying to figure out why Halo is suddenly sending them on these weird type of missions. Like, they hadn't done this before, like why they had burned Grifter. While they're doing that, Grifter's getting into the mainframe because when they killed Cray, Deathblow, I found this out in this issue. Deathblow is almost like a computer program that they plug in. So, like, Michael Cray is the user of that program, and it stands for Digital Biological Latency Operation System, or Operating System, which is known as the Deathblow system, is a parasitic program. So basically, that's how they're able to download him into new bodies, is through this. So when the other team had killed the last Deathblow, Michael Cray, they had put him in this big mainframe and walled it off from everything else. So almost like they're trying to take him off the board. So Grifter's getting in there because Ladytron has found this out, and ends up running into Spartan, who's the big, you know, one of the androids. And they end up getting into a fight, and he picks up Grifter. Looks like he's going to kill him. They talk with Toyman. They're all very confused in all of this stuff. One of the other guys who, I don't know who it is, I think it's supposed to be Savant, starts going after Zealot and calling her Zealot, which she doesn't like, and is just, it's like, you're, we should have expected this from you. You're only in this for yourself. They get into a fight. He goes to shoot her in the head, and she's like, well, you seem like you've forgotten how to count because you're out of bullets. And then she runs him through. And this is the part that I got to, so I'm going to try to make this as I go. They have this team dead to rights. So Fairchild's beat Warblade, the guy with the hand, the Freddy Krueger fingers. And then Spartan comes in and takes them out. They find out that was all a ploy by Ladytron and Grifter to get Deathblow, right, Michael Cray, into Spartan's body because he's an android. So as soon as that android had entered that computer mainframe, Grifter is able to download, it into him. So now they have basically an extra body into this. And that's about where I left off. I never went back to finish it. I don't know if I will, because it all feels like, I feel like who's ever pulling Halo strings isn't, in WildC.A.T.s, not chronology, but, as the fans would know, I feel like they're being manipulated by someone bigger. And as I'm thumbing through, it looks like Ladytron's talking to the Void, and maybe the Void's behind this. I don't know. But one major highlight, though, is that Batman meets up with Bruce meets up with Clark at a diner, and Clark's like, how'd you know where I would be? He's like, well, because there's only one place with, the best apple pie, and that's in Smallville, and I know you're constantly trying to find it. So I just, I knew you'd be here. And then they talk about, who's behind all of this, because it didn't sit well with Batman that Majestic had claimed to be from Krypton when, Superman would know better. And Superman's like, yeah, no, that guy's definitely a child. I just know from my quick experience with him. So I wish I had finished this to give a proper review, but I put it down last night and I was like, I'll talk about up to this part that I read, because I did like the stuff with Deathblow and Grifter and, not being able to feel the nano things anymore. So I'm sure there's been a switch of some kind. And I'm sure, I'm not that well versed in WildC.A.T.s, but whoever they usually end up against, I'm sure, is now in control. Because Marlo also feels very self-serving and not, part of this hero type group. So if I had to rate it, because the art's still Segovia, it's still, feels like Wildstorm of the era. So it's pretty well. The action sequences are well handled. Like the fight between Savant and, I think it's Savant anyways, and Zealot is pretty good. But if I have to be fair in rating it, it's just a 6.5.